Discourse. I'm Tyler Frater alongside Richard A. the Cruz.
Mondays.
And Chief Engineer Lieutenant Commander Connor Frater, who I wish was here today. Follow us, youtube.com/gaming discourse, patreon.com/the gaming discourse. You can support us for $247, $10. Get your name in the video credits, early access to our videos, access to our Discord server, and more. So I was just telling Richard before I hit record and about the Splinter Cell retrospective that I just finished and that I have posted. It's on YouTube. Please go check it out. The final episode, I guess, is on Splinter Cell Blacklist, and I think it turned out pretty good. And the thing that I took after replaying all the Splinter Cells multiple times throughout the past 5 years, the thing that I took away was how good Michael Ironside is as Sam Fisher. Mm-hmm. And so I was explaining to you that anyone who's ever played a Splinter Cell, when they mention Sam Fisher, everybody kind of remembers, Ironside, deep voice, like menacing, intimidating, right, gravelly. And all that is sort of synonymous with Ironside's acting. But I think what people don't really remember is just how good, like, what Ironside brought to Sam was not just a gravelly voice. There's a range to his character. There's, I think, depth and complexity there. One of my, with Sam, he, in the same level, you could have a comedic line and then an incredibly intimidating, even inching close to like maniacal, malicious line, real close to one another. And having those contrasts and seeing Ironside like reach that range of this character, it's like you look back and you don't, when you experience all that again, you realize it wasn't just the intimidation that Ironside brought to Sam. He really did deliver like a really interesting character that you never really knew how he was going to react to things. You didn't know if you were going to get funny Sam or if you were going to get, I'm just going to snap your neck now, Sam, right? And so, nowadays when writing and acting have become, every year we talk about best performances. We're going to talk about Expedition 33 at the Game Awards. And we're going to talk about, I'm sure, Ghost of Yodi and a bunch of other games that came out this year. Avowed has some really good performances in it. So it's like now with writing and acting and directing and motion capture and stuff like that, I think we're like writing and acting have ascended and have improved across games in general, but Ironside like helped craft a character that I think can legitimately be remembered as like a phenomenal character. Before those things were standard in video games, right? Because the first Splinter Cell was like 2002 or 2003, something like that. Maybe 2001, I don't remember, early 2000s. So it's like at that time, I don't know, I don't think there are very many characters that were played by the same actor. Even into like 2006, 2007,
right.
I don't know how many games where with characters that had more voice lines than like a Mario or something like that, where they were voiced by the same character and they had dialogue and different, personality traits and stuff like that. So it's more common today, but that was what I took away after finishing Blacklist, because Blacklist, obviously, Michael Ironside does not play Sam Fisher. It's a different, Eric Johnson is the actor in that. And Eric Johnson's performance just doesn't, it's not all his fault. I talk about all this in the video. It's not all his fault because I think Blacklist just writes Sam differently, which is a whole nother thing, but it is like a big sore thumb in the game because without Michael Ironside there, it's just a different version of Sam. So please go check out the video. Go like, assault and battery the like button, the comments, all that stuff. And if you go to our Patreon page, I have a little bit of write-up on projects that I'm doing right now. I'm reviewing a game. I think I'm reviewing Herdling, which is an Okamotive's next game. Okamotive made Far Changing Tides and Far Lone Sails, where you're a little side-scroller where you manage like a ship and stuff like that. I can't say anything about it right now. It's an embargo, but I am reviewing that. And then, and that, I think the embargo...
Oh, that is, okay. That is the one I thought of. That was on the Switch Direct.
Yes. And that comes out in 2 weeks, I think. So I can't say anything much more about it, but I'm reviewing that, and I'm also working on a few other projects. So go check us out on Patreon. Okay,
Nice.
Richard,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Phenomenal.
I know you just talked about how you're doing. So.
Yeah. What games have you been playing? Games?
Yeah, I played.
Yay!
I mean, nothing like too crazy, but
Damn it!
I got into the Battlefield 6 beta. Well, I mean, I didn't get into it, but I just
You
downloaded it. It's open beta, you know. But I got into it. I dug a little bit of my teeth into it. And I played for a good amount of time this weekend. And I think that this Battlefield entry is pretty promising. It's pretty promising. I enjoyed my time I played with it, and I had a lot of positives come out of it. Immediately dropping into Conquest, as you do, you know, because most Conquest games are already in the middle of a match, and so you're kind of just thrown in, and it's like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yep.
It's the maps that I was given, because I've seen streamers play huge open maps with like snipers and tanks all over the place. The maps that I were thrown in were a lot smaller enclosed town, or like I don't want to call them cities. I mean, I'll just say cities. There's no like skyscrapers or anything, but
Okay.
they're big enough to not be called villages, in my
Sure.
opinion. But
Maybe towns.
yeah, I guess town
Townships.
is the right
township.
word. Yeah. But the destruction engine's Frostbite. Is Frostbite 2 or Frostbite?
I don't
one?
know off the top of my head.
Anyways, the Frostbite engine has always been very good with destruction, but I don't feel like they ever utilized it in a way that I guess I wanted them to, because they tried, was it Levolution they called it, in 4?
Yes.
Battlefield 4, but those were really only for like big set piece moments. They weren't for
That was like skyscraper falling, or a boat, like a giant battleship hitting an island or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't for like kind of like everyday damage, and I think that they kind of redirected their focus on more of that, because when you jump into a conquest match and you start running around, at least in the levels I played, it was fast and frenetic, and it was kind of disorienting, but almost in the sense that you were actually in a real firefight, because you're kind of snapping around left and right, not only trying to find the enemy team who might come up on you in any second, but it's just like, as I look to the left, just a tank is plowing through trees and you know, smaller houses and stuff, and just going through it like butter. And then just debris is being blown out from like bullet, you know, casings and grenades and stuff. And it's very impressive, and something that I am happy to see again in the Battlefield series. Not that it like left, but the way I want it to be.
Sure.
Because I'm selfish. And the game feels good to play, but it feels... how do you remember Battlefield feeling? I know it's weird to ask you that question, but...
So I remember, honestly, the way I remember Battlefield is like a mix. If you put the snap shooting of Call of Duty with the sort of health and longevity of Halo, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because Call of Duty, it felt like people died quicker.
Yes.
But in Battlefield, everybody has a little bit more health than your average like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So you can take more shots and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's how I kind of remembered it. But I do remember it being like relatively, not Titanfall quick, but relatively quick, where you got to run to get somewhere, and you can hop over things and crawl over things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that matches, because I have it downloaded, but I never got around to playing the beta this weekend. I would like to next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend is. So I'll say that in some of my experiences playing, I died as quick as I would in Call of Duty.
Okay.
But there were times where I didn't, and that's usually the times when like a medic is doing their job, you know, and stationed up somewhere, or maybe a firefight lasts a little longer than you'd expect. But in terms of like movement, I guess movement is what I was going for. Movement, it feels lighter.
Okay.
Lighter and slightly faster. But it has that, like, you're obviously playing Battlefield, but your mind is just like, yeah, this is Battlefield. It's just slightly faster. But we're not at that Call of Duty moment, and I don't want to be. But it was good enough that that I'd play it with no issues. They focused a lot on the triggers for the PS5 version. I was playing the PS5 beta, and I don't know how I feel about triggers in a multiplayer setting, because
the haptic feedback.
The haptic feedback, yeah, and not that it's intense, but maybe it's a disconnect between like how I feel mentally and how my fingers are moving. But I feel like if the haptic feedback wasn't there, I'd be able to shoot faster. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like I could pull down the trigger faster to get a shot off faster.
I mean, I will say that in single player games, there is, because it's not something you're used to.
Yeah.
Like you in general. Like even in, I don't know if you played, did you play Deathloop on the PS5?
I did play Deathloop.
Like some of the guns in Deathloop, when you fire it with that controller, it's like the controller is almost shaking out of your hands.
Yes.
Like and it's really cool, but there's, you notice it. It doesn't, which I guess is the point.
Yes.
But when you're fighting NPCs, you can kind of have fun because they're NPCs. You don't have to worry so much. But I guess, if you're more concerned about just defeating other players, then that level of immersion, I guess, may be more of a distraction, or it just may be one of those things where I don't need that. All I need is just let me shoot the guy with as clean as I can. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And so I mean, and that's not that really big of a downside because I was getting into plenty of firefights where I was doing very well. But beyond that, customization is really good still, and that's one of the biggest like pluses about Battlefield. Always is they have a great amount of customization for, your stocks and your laser sights and your magazines and whatnot. All of the classes are there, and you no longer have. What did 2042 do? Did you play 2042?
No.
As far as I know, did a weird thing to where they were like.
As far as I know, it got closer to like a hero shooter. Is what I remember people complaining. And I didn't. I played a good amount of Battlefield 5, which I thought Battlefield 5 was awesome.
I liked Battlefield 5.
I think the building aspect was totally underrated. Yeah. Because you could especially if you're holding a base in Battlefield 5.
Was it your engineer did that?
Yeah, like the engineer class could build up like sandbags and walls. So it wasn't like Fortnite where you could just build anywhere.
Yeah.
It was pre-placed, but what that meant was halfway through the battle, you have the structures are still barely there. And then like late battle, the structures are completely wiped out. Well, now if your squad you're trying to hold Charlie, now you can actually build up defenses and like put down roots at Charlie, which I always thought was really cool. Did they bring anything back like that from
not that I noticed? 6? Because I admittedly I'm a medic fan, so
same.
I love throwing down med packs, love reviving people because Battlefield first and foremost is a team game.
Yes. Oh my god.
and there's definitely people tearing it up on the battlefield, but there is running around. Lots of med packs all over the place. Lots of assault packs around the place, which is really great. It's wonderful to see. The blind spot that I had playing it was all of the classes have a secondary ability that, like, when it's charged, I think you press L1 and R1 and you get to do something. But I completely missed what I could do as a medic and how it would help me like throughout the battles, just because it's just a new thing that you can do, and I wasn't, I just kind of wanted to get in and try it out. But I had a lot of fun with it. I played with some friends, and I think I'll try it again next weekend. I'll keep it installed to get a little more meat out of it. But yeah, it is. I would say it's promising. I'm not gonna like sit here and pretend I'm back in like 2010 when Battlefield 3 came out. I think it was, but it's a good first step. I think at least compared to the worries that we had a week or two ago. Yeah,
and I'm still the single player. I don't know who all cares about the single player, but we'll have to see about that.
It's all propaganda.
I had a thought over the weekend because there were some people talking about Battlefield, and I thought it was interesting that Battlefield sort of recreates, in some ways, Battlefield does have you play like a hero shooter, but it's in an FPS context.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is like when you play Overwatch, you play Lucio and Reinhardt, right? They're two different characters. But those characters are so different that you're even moving differently, right?
Yes.
With Lucio, it's like I had to use, like, I'm sure people are good on console as Lucio with a controller. But some of the stuff that I could do with Lucio on a PC, I just don't know how you could do that with a controller, because I'm spinning so fast with my, you know, I'm like spinning around the inside of a building and like staying hooked to the roof. And because I'm just moving my mouse and mashing spacebar and staying on the wall, you know? So it's like that's something you can only do with Lucio. You go to Reinhardt, and now it's not only does he move more slowly,
big and slow,
but also you're always looking for people to get behind you because you have his big shield, right? So it's like the dynamics completely change. In Battlefield, I think it's somewhat similar, and it's always been like this. In that, if you're a rifleman, your eyes are downrange, you know, and you're moving quickly. You're moving to objectives, and once you get into a firefight, you're shooting. And if you're a medic, all of a sudden, instead of your eyes being downrange, your eyes are where's the guy need to be revived? Behind me, over here. And then in the middle of a firefight, you're popping smoke, you're crawling, you're dragging, which you can do in Battlefield 6. So it's like, again, similar to a hero shooter where the game sort of has, not only are you moving faster, slower, you're also just playing more differently. I think it's the same thing in Battlefield 6. And Squad, that's even more true, because in Squad, teams get limited optics. So like per squad, after so many people join, you don't get optics anymore on your rifles. You just get iron sights.
Yeah.
So what that means is if you join as a medic early on, and you can take like an ACOG scope, but that takes it away from somebody else.
Oh, interesting.
So it's better. At least this is how it used to work. But if you're a medic, you're not a fighter.
Yeah.
So it made more sense to pick a rifle with like a red dot sight, let somebody else have the ACOG, because you don't need the
Fancy,
optics, right? And it's the same kind of thing with like a squad leader. Like a squad leader shouldn't be constantly in a firefight, because you have your menu open, you're trying to figure out the dynamics of the battle, you're trying to figure out where you're going to take your squad next. It's more managing your team than it is trying to kill enemies. So it's like you want your heavy machine gunner and your rifleman to have the optics. You have a pair of binoculars anyway, right? So again, it's like that in Squad, things are magnified because it's slower and the maps are big and et cetera, et cetera. But I'm excited. All I have seen, all the gameplay, I hopped in and did like the shooting range for a second, and I was like, oh, this feels pretty cool. This feels good. I'm excited to. I'm gonna try again this weekend to like see if I can get into a game. But all I'm hearing is good stuff, and I think, and I don't know, the sense that I'm getting is that it's not doing anything crazy.
No,
it's just Battlefield, and I think. I don't know. I think I could have told you 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That this is kind of, people miss that dynamic, right? People and Battlefield 5, I think, was really good. I think it got a bad rap because of Gamergate stuff.
To be honest with you, man.
Which may have hurt it. I don't know. But like Battlefield 4, when it released in a really bad state. I don't know how many people remember this.
Yes, it did.
But Battlefield 4 released, and there was like disconnections and bugs and stuff like that. But yeah, like. Battlefield has always brought people in, right? And it for a long time, it was the counter to Call of Duty.
Always.
Especially with like the Bad Company years. In fact, it kind of started with the Bad Company because the first Battlefield on the 360 was Modern Combat.
Yes, Modern Combat.
Which didn't come to PC because the Battlefield PC was just Battlefield 2. They were equivalent, but Modern Combat and Battlefield 2 were like slightly different.
Crossplay wasn't.
Yeah. So that was like the first Battlefield on consoles, I think. I don't think Battlefield 1942 ever came to consoles.
It did, yes, as a DLC like way later.
Oh, it did?
Or was it 1943?
There was 1943.
Okay, it was 1943.
Which was also very popular.
Yeah, it was
but like the original 1942, I don't think ever came to consoles, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But the point I'm making here is that Battlefield's formula, like, I think they found something good. it doesn't need to be tweaked all that much. And they have an audience. And I think if you stay with that, then it's great.
Yeah.
EA has other plans for Battlefield, and I'm hoping that it's just like, please, like it's got momentum. There's like 1 million people playing the beta, so everybody's excited, everybody's having a good time. I don't know. I hate this idea that EA sees that and goes, "Oh, good. How do we turn this into Roblox?"
Right.
Instead of just supporting it, and then in a couple years moving on to Battlefield 7 or something like that, right? Which is all you should do. Like, that's all you need to do.
And it's probably about that time too, because I had a conversation with somebody at work a day or two ago, and whenever I get fatigued for what I'm playing, or maybe there's just too many genres out and about, like, maybe I've played my 5th open world game in the span of like 3 months. A lot of times that I wouldn't call it a remedy, but basically something to help me bring myself out of that is like a basic ass first person shooter, or like a like action adventure of some sort. And I think that the years since 2017, 16 of Fortnite and PUBG and Battle Royale all over the place, I think it is time for kind of something just basic to come out and grab people. And the word of mouth is very good for the future of this Battlefield until something inevitably happens that EA decides to
so I don't know,
to implement.
That does make me worried. I don't know if they're actually going to reach 100 million players, but I need to play Battlefield 6. Okay, what have I
have you been playing?
So I've a little bit more Death Stranding 2, which I've talked about that a lot. And I'm still like, it's fine, I'll finish it, but meh. Like, okay. It's just not, I don't know. The thing is, and I said this last week, it's like there are new weapons, but it's just the game didn't need the first Death Stranding. What it needed to improve with was not more weapons, was not more combat. It needed to make the delivery mechanics deeper and more difficult. And Death Stranding 2 just hasn't really done that so far. I could. There's a monorail system in the game, and it's like I could take the time and build up these monorails so that I could get me to places faster, but it's not all that difficult to do, and it's just like it's not. I don't know. I don't feel the urge or the need to do it. Once I complete it, I don't feel like, hell yeah, I have this upgrade. It just feels like, I guess I could do this to make it a bit easier. It's not fun. I don't look forward to that, right? And it's the same thing with roads. It's like, I could build all these roads and I could get to places faster, but I don't know. Do I really need to do all that? Is that really all that rewarding or exciting? Not really.
That is something that happened to me in the first game a lot. Like I remember there's a delivery in like one of the highest peaks of the game, and like I climbed up it building the rail as I went along, or whatever you hang on to, and once I was done, it was just, and I was like, wow, never using that again, because I didn't need to go back up to that place. So it was just like you still had to do the work the one time for a minute of satisfaction.
So but there are times when you have to do deliveries where it's like I have to bring ladders, and I have to pay attention to like my resources and be careful with things. But it's just not, I don't know, it's not what I wanted Death Stranding 2 to be, I guess, thus far. I wanted Death Stranding 2 to be much more you have to deal with cliffs and mountains and rivers that are impossible to get across. So you have to build the bridges and the infrastructure, and you have to be ready for different threats. Like I remember the first Death Stranding funneling you through BT and hostile places a lot more than this one does. Yeah. So it's just it doesn't feel as dangerous. And also the BTs, as cool as they are, they just don't feel in the first game they were creepy. Yeah. And now they just don't. It's just more of the same thing. It doesn't feel like there's anything any new risks or any. It feels like so much of the game I have to try and force upon myself, right? Like there are new boots that help me walk up the mountain. And so it's like, okay, I guess I'll put these boots on. But if I had the basic boots on, I'd probably be just fine. There are new gloves that help you climb. And it's like, all right, well, how many times are these gloves really going to matter? You know, I don't know. So it's just stuff like that. And yeah, there's story stuff as well that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a character in the game that something bad happens to them. But Death Stranding 2 sort of pulls its punch. Instead of making you feel this thing with the character, it does a bad thing to the character and then sort of does something that I don't know, how do I explain it without I'll just say this. A character dies. Okay? This character dies and it's sad, okay? But the character comes back as a ghost. And you really can't tell the difference between them being dead and their ghost.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, why kill them off? What are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
So it's like the game wants to, and there are scenes where it's like people are sad about this character being dead, but it happens in that scene, and it's like, oh man, these people are sad about this character being dead. But then when you go out and you make deliveries and you're talking with people, it's like that character being dead doesn't really matter because everything is normal anyway.
Yeah, right.
So I'm trying to be vague, but I'm not a fan of that, especially with in Expedition 33, things happen and the characters have to deal with grief and loss and stuff like that, and it's real because the game doesn't pull its punches. Death Stranding 2, I think, does in a way. So yeah, there's other stuff that I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. There's like just awkward as hell cutscenes that are just like incoherent. A lot of people have complained about this, and it's fine, but it's not just the dialogue. Sometimes it's like how it's shot. There's a scene where there's a new character who they find, and this character has like amnesia or something, and they're trying to help her out, help her like regain. She's kind of like in a haze, and they're trying to bring her back to personhood or something.
Okay.
So anyway, so there's a scene where another character is taking care of this character, and they're singing. So this character goes, "Raindrops keep falling on my head," and the character who's in a haze sings it back. So they're like, oh, they're kind of helping her along, kind of like someone who's in like a coma, kind of like waking them up, right? So Sam leans in a doorway and sees them singing, and it's this nice moment, and they're kind of singing back and forth. And then, I can't express how weird this cutscene is. So it's kind of a nice moment because you see what the scene is getting across. The people are the other characters in the game are taking care of this new character, helping her out, right? Mm-hmm. So after they sing, there's like a 5-second window of silence, and then Norman Reedus out of nowhere just goes, "Raindrops keep falling on my head," and the camera pans, and Sam is like awkwardly leaning in the door, and then just walks away. And it's like, okay, that wasn't supposed to be comedic. It was supposed to be nice. That like, oh, Sam is there to help out, but instead it comes across hilarious because Sam it's like Sam. I don't know.
Wanted to be included.
Yeah, or something. It's awkward and weird. And it's like, can we do another take there? Can we get a couple different shots? Can we do something else? Then like he just randomly sings and then walks away. It just feels so awkward and strange. But anyway, I guess that's I don't know. I guess that's Kojima and that's Death Stranding, and that's how things are gonna go. Okay. So yeah, I don't remember what else I'm playing. I'm playing a bunch of.
Well, you're playing something you can't talk about. So
well, that's true, and
that's not really your fault.
But anyway, okay. I think we'll hit the ad and we'll do news.
Sure.
Thanks for listening. If you like our content, please consider subscribing or leaving a like and comment. You can find us at patreon.com/thegamingdiscourse. And our tiers are $2, $4, $7, and $10 and include getting your name in the video credits, early access, and access to our Discord server.
Maybe, but of everybody I've seen in the trailers, there are only 3 women that I know of. So I'm like,
Okay, well, yeah.
Maybe it's one of them. Anyways. Doesn't matter.
The problem with talking about Death Stranding is that Kojima likes to do this thing where his trailers are hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And you see everything that happens.
Sure. Well, there's, and there's a way to do it, because it's like, I watched like both of the trailers, the full trailers they released for the Superman movie from James Gunn.
Okay, yeah.
And I finally saw it. And the scenes that they used in the trailers out of context were like, oh man, I wonder what happens here. And then you see them in the movie and it's like, wow, this should have been a big spoiler. But the way it was presented and how it's in the movie and then in the trailer, it's like it wasn't a spoiler at all. But those scenes were still very effective.
Yeah.
So it was very, very cool.
I don't know if, I'm sure there are probably people that have written about this, but there is this new, I guess 10 years now or so, where it's like movie trailers give up so much information. Like Project Hail Mary. Have you seen the trailer for Project Hail Mary? Okay. So it's the movie it's based on the book written by, I forget the guy's name. He wrote The Martian. And he also used to work at Blizzard, strangely.
Right.
Andy,
I've heard about this trailer, actually.
Andy Weinhardt or something like that. I don't remember. I don't remember his name. No, Mark Watney was the character from The Martian.
He has heart.
Yeah. I don't remember what the author's name is, but it's his next book, Project Hail Mary, which I knew nothing about. And I was like, maybe I'll read one day because it's sci-fi. Well, I watched the trailer for the movie. Yeah. With Ryan Gosling, and the movie gives away so much. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that kind of seems dumb. Like, it gives away something about the movie.
Like the biggest twist, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's like, if you hid that, the concept would have still been cool as hell. Like, you got to go find out why stars are dying. That's all you got to tell me. That sounds interesting. You don't have to tell me that there's something out there. Like, you don't got to tell me that part. Right. But so, like, I don't know, with trailers, it's this new, I always go back to the original trailer for Alien, which was just, well, I don't know if it's the original, but like one of the original trailers for Alien. Yeah. Where it's just an alarm goes off. It's all these incoherent shots. It's all these people stressed out and screaming and terrified. And then it cuts to silence and it says, in space, no one can hear you scream, Alien. And it's like, you want to see that movie? Yes. Yeah, it's intriguing. Yeah, it's provocative. Gets the people going. Throw me a piece of chicken. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So I want to talk about this this interview Strauss Zelnick did with Wesley Yimpool of Eurogamer. Reminder: last week we spoke about Bioshock 4's development turnover. The game is being revamped, and Cloud Chamber went through some leadership changes. Strauss Zelnick seemed like he did a lot of interviews with a lot of different people, especially with a bunch of companies putting out their yearly financial results. You had like Microsoft, and I think Sony did it over the past few weeks. So a bunch of different companies. Anyway, I want to read a couple quotes here and kind of dig into them a bit. Yinpool asked Strauss Zelnick about Bioshock 4, and Zelnick said that Bioshock 4 will eventually come out. He even said, hand on heart, the game will eventually come out. And he said, quote, "We don't talk about how long our development cycles are. We have had some ups and downs along the way. That said, we have very big shoes to fill on Bioshock because of the legacy of Ken Levine, and the legacy of what has gone before, which has been so successful. And we need to make sure that this experience is true to the Bioshock DNA on the one hand, and a massive step forward on the other hand. That's always challenging. We think we're up to the challenge, but it has not been seamless." Another quote I would like to read, quote, "The strategy of this company has always been to make the best entertainment, not necessarily the most entertainment. Of course, sometimes we've fallen short, but frankly, a precious few times. And I think some of our competitors have realized, maybe a little late in the day, that consumers are not okay with okay. Good is the new bad, great is the new great, and our goal here is to make everything exceptional." All right. So, all right. We talked about Bioshock 4 last week.
Yes, we did. Yes.
So, and if you want to rehash some of that discussion, we can. I found these I don't know.
I hate. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate both of these quotes. So, first off,
if it were somebody that I think really believed in this, I would be okay with it. Yeah. Right. Like, I don't know, if it were like, I'm trying to think of like a small time public, Devolver Digital, you know, like, which they don't operate things like this, but if it were them, I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, hell yeah. But I read these quotes and all I think about is NBA 2K and how bad that series is, or GTA Online, and how like it's been successful, but just how chock full of bullshit GTA Online is.
Right.
Or Red Dead Online, which is just a hacker's paradise. Red Dead 2 Online, it was unplayable last time I played it because of that. So I don't know. Yeah, but you were gonna go ahead.
Touching up on what we said last week, kind of the sentiment that we both don't really feel like there needs to be another BioShock. I think that's what we agreed on. I don't want to. Well, maybe there shouldn't be another BioShock, but I don't know how you're going to capture BioShock again. Like it's being awestruck by the game. Like, what concept are you using? It was kind of a lightning in the bottle thing, or it was for that moment, and then we've moved past it. Because I don't. Any conversation I see online, nobody's really asking for another BioShock.
Yeah, and I think to reinforce your opinion.
Yes.
Because I think what we got to last week was that BioShock is not like Fallout. BioShock you can do a lot more with.
Yes.
Because it's based on System Shock. It's an immersive sim, right? So there have been games that have played kind of like a BioShock. Prey, Dishonored, right? It's the same structure. It's the genre. What makes BioShock memorable is Rapture, 1950s, somewhere along the sea, and it's contrasted with crazy zombie people and big daddies and stuff like that. I think we have to remember BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite isn't a game that's remembered as like an all-time great game. Yeah. Right? BioShock was amazing. A lot of people say it's one of the greatest games of all time. I think BioShock 2 a lot of people enjoyed and wasn't bad. Yeah. And then BioShock Infinite was, this is okay, and it got a lot of criticism for its storyline and stuff like that. And BioShock Infinite took the story in a completely different direction. It's not underwater, so it's like a completely different brand. So I think what we got to there is like BioShock does not have the same identity that other games do. Right. And it both from a thematic and gameplay standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that does. I guess what I want to get to is the fact that I don't think there are shoes to fill, in my opinion. Like we don't need to fill any shoes. Like, those shoes have been filled already. You need to make something new. And that kind of goes into that next quote, that second quote, which I really hate. We're in a position that we are now because there's been a push of this mindset that 7 is bad. Like, good is bad. And that's the fault of the hype machine. That's the fault of bigger is better. That's the fault of the people in charge of not development but publishing, Strauss Zelnick himself, or whatever marketing team he has. People are okay with okay. What people are not okay with is the quality of your game, because people can see the shortcuts that have been made for these games. I'm not saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be bad. We don't know how it's going to be. Yeah. But if it comes out and it's bad, I think the conversation might shift to, well, it's bad because you guys wanted to focus on online and make more money that way. Mm-hmm. The shortcuts are made for the end goal of having more money. Yeah, no, and more revenue coming. Yes. So people are fine with okay. People love good, because a large majority of the people who come in nowadays are asking for those good games from the PS2 era. They're asking for Attack and the Power of Juju. They're asking for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. They are asking for the good games, because those are the games that get remembered. Masterpieces get remembered, and that's fine. BioShock is remembered. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now. But that's not to say that something like Mafia 2 won't be remembered. Yeah.
And to build a contemporary example, one of the biggest games last year was Space Marine 2, which was an Xbox 360 game,
Yes.
And it didn't win
And
Game of the Year.
It was,
but for a lot of people, it was like one, and it was a good game. It was solid.
I haven't played Space Marine 2. I played the original Space Marine 2, and I was not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Just because it was very repetitive and very like, you know, is this all I'm going to do this game? But it doesn't change the fact that it was a good game for a lot of people, and just good in general. But yeah.
But I think like Space Marine 2 would be an example of...
That's a great example.
And if they did another Space Marine in 2 years and they added a few things and made it a little bit better, whatever, I think it has a chance of being just as successful, because there is a dearth of fulfilling the fantasy of you being this gigantic mecha soldier who's ripping apart Tyranids and stuff like that, right? We didn't really have that, and Space Marine 2 delivered that, and that made people excited. So I think, I don't know, I don't like that quote either, because I think like 2K is partially in the position it's in right now because it bought Zynga, so it has a bunch. So, and Zynga hasn't as far as
they did buy Zynga. Okay.
As far as I remember, the Zynga purchase has been like up and down. Obviously, that Star Wars game wasn't a huge hit, so the mobile market is like its own beast. But again, you have to remember like GTA, how successful GTA Online has been, and then you have NBA 2K, right, which is a live service basketball game. So again, just like Madden, it maybe doesn't have the same audience that Madden has, but everybody that wants to play a pro basketball video game is playing NBA 2K. And both of those games are just chock full of microtransactions and other live service bullshit. So if I don't know, if you went back over the last 10 years, and every 4 years you put every 3 years you divided up those years, and then you put GTA Online 1, GTA Online 2, GTA Online 3. All you would have is essentially 2K making a bad version of GTA Online every couple of years or something like that, right? Almost like they released a Call of Duty every few years, like Activision does. And you wouldn't herald it as like this genius thing that they can do. I don't know. I guess, I guess what bothers me is that I don't like that mentality. I think that 2K can say this partially because they've made a lot of money off of bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like GTA Online is just bad. Now, Zelnick may disagree with that, and he may say, look at the numbers, look at the money, therefore good. And, that's his value, and that's what he values, and that's you can't argue against that, but I would argue on a different basis of what good means, right? And I think NBA 2K and GTA Online are not good. So the point I'm making here is clearly bad is fine because 2K has been successful with bad games. Yeah. So I don't know. I just, it makes me roll my eyes because I think, and not to mention Red Dead Online, right, which was a massive disaster, and I don't think it's ever been fixed. And if it has been, I haven't heard about it. But when it came out, it got no support, and there was a bunch of,
which is stunning.
There was a bunch of I remember trying to play, and it was full of hackers everywhere, which is insane for Rockstar. But I appreciate what Rockstar does. I appreciate that 2K gives Rockstar a lot of creative freedom, but this position you're in is not a sustainable one. And if GTA 6 comes out and it's amazing, that's great. But if it's the greatest game of all time, that's great. But there's going to come a point when you can't spend, if you spent 15 years longer, I don't know, 13 years making GTA 6, let's just say, or there was that many years between the last GTA game. You can't double that for GTA 7. There's no way you're going to go 25 years between games, right? You're going to have people's entire careers in the games industry making one game, because that would be a massive amount of budget. There's no way you could get that money back. So this is an unsustainable trajectory that you're on, right? So it's now I would and again, with something like BioShock specifically, I don't know, again, BioShock is just an immersive sim. That doesn't mean immersive sims are easy to make, but it's a formula that is well known, well trodden, that people are excited for. And so this idea that you have to somehow surpass the previous BioShock, I don't know, I think you could argue that maybe that has already been done in some ways. Prey was incredibly flawed, but Prey was incredibly flawed. But at the same time, Prey did some stuff that was just insanely cool. And it's like, can you build on top of that? Dishonored. Really cool stuff in Dishonored. Yeah. And so it's like there have been other good immersive sims. Hitman, the Hitman games, right? Like, are you kidding me? I don't know if you would count those as immersive sims, but I think they're pretty close.
So.
It's a cousin of the immersive
I would say
sim.
So, yeah.
Right? So it's like, and then you have the new James Bond game coming out. So there have been people that have sort of expanded on that formula. And now it doesn't mean so to get back to my original point here, like, the next BioShock does not need to, I don't know, be the greatest game of all time. And I don't think every game ever made needs to do that. I think that's a ridiculous thing to shoot for. And yeah, I think, if you make solid games, I don't know, my version of the industry that I like the most is sustainability, where people are making solid games on solid budgets and they come out and they're fine, right? And as amazing as some games have been, I can't imagine how this kind of thing can continue. How we can keep taking 5, 6, 7 years between games and stay sustainable, especially as inflation goes up, the cost of consoles go up,
right.
And because those things do go up. We can have a conversation about, whether games need to be $70 or $80 or $90 or whatever. But that's just the nature, the nature of money and inflation itself is that does happen. So I don't know. So I'm sorry if I sound a little confused. I don't like that the CEO of one of the biggest game publishers on earth has this sort of mentality, because I just don't think it's a good mentality to have.
Yeah. And
I don't even think it's true either. Again, because they have Zynga, so you got bullshit mobile money there. Yeah. You've got GTA Online, bullshit live service money there. You've got NBA 2K, bullshit live service money. So it's not like the only games you've released over the past 10 years are Red Dead 2 and GTA 5, because that's just not true. So it's like you have other studios that have been making stuff that is just standard industry slop that we've seen out of other publishers, whether we're talking about Activision or PlayStation or Microsoft. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to. I don't know. The next BioShock the next BioShock will get people excited. Speaking of Ken Levine, with I think Ghost Story Games, they're working on Judas. That's another one where it's like Judas has been in the works for I don't even know how long at this point.
Too long.
And maybe it will be the greatest game ever made. I hope it is, but that can't continue.
Right.
Every studio can't make the greatest game ever made and also take 10 years to make it and create a sustainable industry based. Right. So that can't happen. And if it does happen at 2K, other studios cannot try and emulate it, because if it does work at 2K, it definitely won't be able to work for everybody, because that just won't work. Everybody releasing one game every 10 years or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. When I look back at the past 15 years and I think about Obsidian, right? Think about the games Obsidian has put out.
Yeah.
Pillars 1 and 2.
Yes.
Other Tyranny, other RPGs that I'm probably forgetting. Pentiment, one of the greatest games of all time. Avowed, Outer Worlds, and then Outer Worlds 2 coming out soon. So there's 7 games right there.
I feel like they're missing.
Oh, and I'm missing. Grounded.
Grounded 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, and the second one that came out this year, it's getting a lot of good buzz. So it's like...
But it's, and like most of those games, Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 and Pentiment are all excellent, but it's like, Grounded is good. Like, Avowed is good. Like, it's great even, but people love them, man.
Yeah, and they're not, and I think, and we could sit here and I could talk about the feelings of Avowed and what I don't like about it and what I do like about it. But I don't know. I'm glad that they're putting out games. They're shipping games. I'm playing them, and I get to experience them, and they're working on other stuff. And hopefully they're building a sustainable business that way. And I don't know. I would rather have that than studios placing a massive bet on one every time they get up to hit. It's a home run or nothing. And that's what GTA 6 is right now. Because if GTA 6 is going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Because it's just, even if the reviews come out and it's 6s and 7s, I think people are just going to compulsively buy it anyway. Yeah. I will, because I will want to play it for myself. Yeah. But I'm sure it's going to be really good. But at the same time, it's like you have to realize that you are the New York Yankees. And the only reason you lead the league in home runs is because you have a bunch of money to buy dudes that are hitting home runs.
Yes.
It's not because you've been developing guys through your farm system to hit home runs and you're just really good at hitting home runs. You just buy the guys that are good at home runs, and so you've inflated your home run statistics.
Force your way.
Yes, exactly. Like that is 2K. So yeah, I think Obsidian I think is a good example of they just been shipping games. You know, I've also heard this talk about something that I've read a few times is, and obviously I don't know this from experience, but the things you learn as a developer from shipping games, right? Because you go through a whole process from pre-production, production, to the game ships, and that whole journey you gain experience, right? Mm-hmm. You get pre-production experience, production experience, then post-production experience, maybe working on updates or DLC, mm-hmm. right? Okay, so that whole thing is something that you learned. And then you go on to the next thing, and you can apply the lessons that you learned from that first game ship to your second game ship, right? That builds experience. It gives people knowledge of different aspects of game development, right? As opposed to something like GTA 6, where you've been working on it for so long, and it's just like you haven't shipped it. I don't know. I don't know if that's good for somebody. If you're somebody who started working at Rockstar in 2019, you have not shipped a game, to my recollection, right? Unless you want to talk about they didn't do the remasters, right? The bAd.
No, they offloaded that. Or yeah. What's that phrase?
Well, let me put they gave it to someone. Let me put it this way: they haven't developed a brand new game, Rockstar. They did like HD remakes, maybe, or they put the first Red Dead on PC. Yeah. So they've released games technically, I guess. But they haven't put out like a brand new game that required an entire development cycle, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's good for people entering the industry or something. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong there. But if you started work at Obsidian in 2019, you've shipped like 1 million games, and you've gotten all kinds of experience, yes. You know, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like that mentality, because to me, just give me more games. And every now and then you're going to make a game that is going to blow the world away, and that's great. But I don't know.
And we just have to look at the PC landscape. I mean, I understand that there's more trends in the PC landscape, but a game that came out that like isn't. I haven't played it, so I'm making assumptions. But just from videos I've seen, like it looks like a fun game. It looks good, but I wouldn't say it's like great, but peak.
Yeah. And
it's just like
I have played it.
How much it sold, you know, and how much money it has made.
It's a huge success.
I forgot the studio's name, but anyways, but that game is just simply good, like, mm-hmm. and people love it, and it's Tyler, the creator, yes. As a rapper or musician. I saw an interview he did the other day, and he said, no matter what I'm making, I just put it out. Because if you make something and you tell yourself, this isn't good enough, I got to keep making it, how long does that like year turn into like 5 years and you still haven't released anything? Just put it out, because whatever you put out, someone's going to like it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, and it's an act of creative faith. Yeah. Like you have to, and that's, I don't know, I think that's something that people in creative industries have to battle with. Yeah. And this is something we talked about with Mark Dara, right?
Right.
Completion urgency, like shipping a game, finishing it, because it can't be worked on forever. You have to get to the point where you finish it. Mm-hmm. And there's the saying that art is never finished, it's just abandoned, right? So it's like you could work on something forever and keep editing something. You could work, if you're an author, you could edit a book until you die, right?
But how many of those unfinished things create the spark of creativity in somebody else? Because it's like, I just saw something today that they've made an entire like overhaul of Starfield into Star Wars and like added new quests and like everything, and just because some guys wanted to.
Yeah,
it's just
so you have to ship things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with that. But I don't know. Strauss Zelnick,
it's the suits, goddammit.
He has a very specific way of speaking He's always very, I don't know. When he talks, he comes across like a fighter pilot sitting in a briefing who like shot down a bogey last week and he's got aviators on, but really it's like, nah, dude, you shot down I don't know. You shot down a bogey in DCS. It was a simulator, man. Calm down. I don't know. And again, like, I don't know. I just don't like executives. Okay. What did Strauss Zelnick have to do with Red Dead 2? Tell me anything. Was he like, how about Arthur cries because of his mortality? Yeah. Strauss Zelnick didn't do that shit. So you know what? What you've done is you're just like Kotick and everybody else. You had a sports game do really well. You milk the shit out of that. You had GTA Online do really well. You milk the shit out of that, and that money finances so many other projects that you don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I'm just angry now. So leave Rockstar alone, but make them ship more games. God damn it. Okay. Moving on. Speaking of, Contraband is canceled. So we didn't know a whole lot about Contraband. It was going to be a co-op smuggling / action game set in the 1970s from Avalanche Studios, which makes the Just Cause series, yes. Right? And they've made a few other games.
There's 2 Avalanche Studios, so it's confusing.
Did they?
Well, now there's.
Oh, do I have that wrong?
No, you don't. But other games you might be thinking of might belong to the other Avalanche.
Oh, okay. I did not. Which one has the big open world like proprietary tech thing?
Is
that the other Avalanche?
That is the other Avalanche, yeah.
Oh, I never knew.
So hold on, wait, no, sorry, that's that. Okay,
it is that.
Yeah, Rage 2, Mad Max, Just Cause. That's Avalanche Studios Group. And then the other Avalanche did like Disney Infinity and some other ones.
Okay, I'm not thinking about them. Okay, good. I'm thinking of one Avalanche then.
I could be wrong too. Anyways, please go.
Anyway,
please, yeah.
So during the recent earnings report, I wanted to also talk about some of to back up, Contraband canceled, Avalanche Studios, and we didn't know a whole lot about it. There was like a teaser trailer from a couple of years ago, but that was basically it, and it's gone now. A little bit about Microsoft. During their recent earnings report, Microsoft reported some really strong numbers. CEO Satya Nadella said the company has 40 games in development. Gaming revenue is up 10% year over year, with Xbox content and services up 13% year over year. Microsoft also said that annual revenue from Game Pass was nearly $5 billion for the first time. So I don't know why I thought for some reason saying it was nearly 5 billion instead of about 5 billion. I thought that was kind of a weird thing, but whatever, it's how they worded it. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say. It's just when I saw this news, it just sort of reinforced this idea that I don't know really how dedicated Microsoft is to Xbox. I think Xbox is dedicated to Xbox.
Yes.
But I don't know how dedicated Microsoft is.
You're right. No, and that makes sense because it's Nadella being like, hold on, guys. Hey, don't worry. We got 40 games in development. It's like, sure, that's cool. But all of the games that were very important and people were excited for, you have now ostensibly canceled.
Yeah.
So Contraband being one of the like final ones that, yes, I did forget about until they released it, but knowing who was making it and what it was about that we knew seemed interesting because we need more co-op games and we don't have any. So
yeah,
I don't care that like Game Pass is nearly 5 billion for the first time because you're supposed to be using that money supposedly to make these games, but you're canceling them.
Yeah.
So what's happening here? Where's that money going?
That's a good point. To operating Game Pass, I guess. I don't know. Because Microsoft is in a weird position right now. I don't know I have no idea what's going to happen with the console industry. It feels like consoles have to exist because people play video games on them and they buy video games for the console, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Not everybody is going to become a PC gamer. So right. There is still, it's like, okay, it's an home entertainment device that people still want. So there is a market for it. The economics are weird, but the three major players in that sector one of them has just tripped out of the gate 15 years ago and has decided to. Everybody, Nintendo and PlayStation or Sony were running down the track, and Microsoft was like, "I know, I'll play basketball."
Yeah.
So they just did something else entirely. So I have no idea how to track that or what predictions to make. I think, and I haven't. This thought just popped into my head, but I don't know if you've seen the reaction to GPT-5.
No.
So GPT-5, I guess people dislike it.
Yeah.
There's like lots of drama surrounding its release, and lots of people are angry about different stuff, and I don't understand any of it. But OpenAI and Microsoft have like this weird relationship where OpenAI, I don't think, has made a profit yet, but the idea is that they will eventually, because AI is going to be the next big thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, it's this weird situation where Microsoft somehow invests or owns, I don't know, I'm getting this all wrong. They have a relationship, and good things happening to ChatGPT, Microsoft wants that to happen. But good things aren't really happening. While at the same time, Microsoft is putting all kinds of money and resources into AI, right? So I don't know how that affects like Microsoft's other businesses, because the narrative when they made all those layoffs, and one that I think is accurate, is that Microsoft is just more concerned with the AI industry right now. So they're shifting resources and money to the AI industry, where consoles, they are kind of, our previous two generations haven't done that well. Do we really want to keep doing this? That's kind of the vibes that I gathered. And then they announced the handheld stuff. So it's like, okay, so you're entering the handheld market, which is a totally different thing, and requires a whole new level of like.
Is it wrong that I don't like think that they're like, it's just a ROG Ally but Xbox branded?
I don't know but it's also the support for it, because they're gonna have like Xbox games
custom
work for it,
custom
and stuff like that,
UI
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they released the Xbox Meta Quest 3, but it's like, it's just
but that's just
branding.
It's just branding.
Right.
I think
I see this as the same thing, honestly.
I think it may be okay. My impression was that it was a little bit deeper, because the idea is Xbox Anywhere. So if you get an Xbox ROG Ally, the whole idea behind Xbox is it's platform agnostic, so you can play your games anywhere, and that also means that and you can do that with xCloud, sure, but ROG Ally wasn't as far as I remember. It's not just the cloud. It's also you're going to play it on the system itself, right? Which means you're going to have to support an ecosystem where you release a game and it works on console, on PC, and on the handheld device itself, right? And not through streaming, through another layer of compatibility. That's how I understood it. Now, Steam achieves this partially with Proton, right? So you can play games that are made for Windows 11 on a Linux-based Steam Deck through Proton, and that's Steam doing it themselves. And Steam can do that because Steam has a shit ton of money. They're a private company, and they kind of set goals and they stick with them. And even if they fail at things, they can take those hits, because Gabe Newell makes $1 billion, and so does everybody else at Valve.
Yeah. And
they don't have shareholders that are worried about whether or not they're chasing trends so that they can sell off their stock in Valve, right?
Right.
Where Microsoft, that's where Microsoft is. So you're getting into a handheld market that is starting to be somewhat saturated, and one of your main competitors, because again, the main competitor of Microsoft's Xbox's push into handheld gaming will be the Steam Deck, unless PlayStation does something. But you're getting into a fight with somebody who does not care if they lose money, and is much more patient, and also doesn't care if they lose, because they're kind of doing their own thing, you know? So if you're canceling games and you're shifting funds over to AI, and Microsoft doesn't really care about gaming, to me, this whole thing just makes me think Microsoft's whole idea to what to do with gaming forward is weird. And at the same time of being weird, it feels like there's a sense that they really don't totally want to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but maybe I'm reading too much into that. And I don't know if I'm wrong on the ROG Ally.
The ROG Ally is just PC stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And Game Pass PC stuff.
Yeah. So, but again, the major difference would be you can play games on it natively, right?
Yeah.
Like the Steam Deck.
And like just the regular ROG Ally.
Which would require some form of support and money and resources on Xbox's side, on Microsoft's side.
Yeah.
Some form.
But you can already do that now on the ROG Ally. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing different besides like the UI and it being called the Xbox ROG Ally. Because you can just download the ROG Ally is just Windows 11. You just download PC Game Pass and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, I'd have to look into it again. Maybe it's not that big of a thing.
That's why I've never been excited about it because I'm like, oh, it's just.
Well, I mean, I mean, I'm not.
I'm not saying you're excited about it. But
yeah, don't say I'm excited.
I'm not excited about it.
No. Okay, well then I don't know. I'd have to look at it again.
But
I just to me it was just another because no matter how big the investment is, it is some form of investment into something that I don't know if Microsoft really wants to do. Right. So even if it's not that big of a deal, it is something. You have to support it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Because if Valve released the Steam Deck and it didn't work on Proton, didn't put out Proton updates, then it would
dead
be
in the water.
It'd be dead. So they have to spend money and resources on it. That requires engineers, lots of back-end shit that I don't understand. So I don't know how much AMD is doing. I'm sure there's some kind of partnership there.
Probably.
But I assume they would be doing the manufacturing. I don't know how these deals work because it wouldn't make sense if AMD just spent all that money and was like, and we're going to use your brand, but we're going to do all the manufacturing costs. That seems, I don't know. And also like marketing, right? Microsoft, I would assume Microsoft, especially because it's Xbox branded.
Yes.
You're going to have to put out commercials that are Xbox commercials for this new thing, right? So it's some form of investment. Maybe to them it's a drop in the bucket. But even if it is a drop in the bucket, I assume it probably costs more, if not just as much as a game. And they're canceling games, Yes. So anyway.
So real quick, going back to the Avalanche thing, there is two Avalanche.
Okay.
Avalanche Software, and those are the guys that did Hogwarts Legacy, Cars 3, Disney Infinity, a lot of Disney stuff and license-based things. And then there's Avalanche Studios that does
Mad Max. They did Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, Avalanche Software did Hogwarts Legacy. But they're not the ones who did Mad Max.
Yeah, they're not the one that did Mad Max and stuff.
Then the other Avalanche is...
I'll be honest, I didn't even know there was another.
Yeah.
I thought like WB did Hogwarts Legacy.
They published it. WB Games published it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Are they owned? You know, I'm not going to ask any questions.
Nice.
It's fine. I'm not going to get into it. Let's deep dive into this other Avalanche that exists. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, it's just going to be complaining, which we've already complained enough about.
Okay. Let's do tidbits. What if I told you in this world there are bits and there are tids, and Richard is the only man who can put them together into tidbits?
Connor's not here.
No hearts.
I just got one tidbit. It's a real quick one, but the producer of the Switch 2 cartridges, Macronix, has reported in their quarterly earnings that they will start using MLC NAND and 3D NAND to meet varying capacity requirements. This update could hint that the Switch 2 will get more cart storage sizes beyond the current 64 gigabyte baseline that they have.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. The way that the article I read worded it was that they weren't thinking of going backwards. They were thinking of expanding.
Oh, to bigger stuff.
The bigger stuff.
So that wouldn't solve the issue then.
Well,
the issue that
they
people
need to
are
solve
having.
They need to solve the issue because there was also a Nintendo put out a survey about physical games.
Yeah.
And they took it down like half a day later.
Did you take the survey?
No, I didn't take the survey because I don't care enough.
I did. I took the survey. I was like, fuck you, Nintendo. I'm taking this survey.
Yeah, do it. Like, yeah, it's completely arbitrary reason as to why, like, they can't put, switch to, like, at worst, use a Switch 1 cart and then just give an update to it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
It does seem like one of those weird things because physical games are really popular for the Switch.
Yeah.
Because the Switch, we were talking about this before the show, with like PS2 has a million games.
Mm-hmm.
And the Switch 2, I think, I assume...
Has a millionaire games.
Has a millionaire games. And I assume that's maybe partially because, I don't know, are those cartridges and the box being smaller, does that make it cheaper to make like a Switch 2 game than... I mean, a Switch game than it was like a disc in a bigger box for Xbox and PlayStation? I don't know the economics behind it. But what I do know is that there were way more... When you go into any used game store, any GameStop, there are way more Switch games than there are Xbox One and PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, right?
Yep, by far.
So why is that? I don't know. But so there's a physical game market for the Switch. You go into Switch 2, and that market seems to be weird right now because you have this, everything has to start with this 64 gig cart. Mm-hmm. And then if your game is a gig... Yeah. It's like you're having to way overspend for these carts, so that kind of locks you out of having a physical release if you don't have the budget for it. So yeah, if that's the problem, then this would seem to not solve the problem because it's going the opposite direction.
Right.
And everything I'm saying has been said a million times by a million people with the Switch 2. So
it needs to go the other way for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know why.
Because I think Bravely Default, the HD remake of Bravely Default, doesn't even hit 6 gigs or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know why. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about tech to tell you if that's like. I remember with the PSVR 2, we talked about why is it that games aren't backwards compatible with PSVR, and that's still a question I don't totally understand. Maybe it's because of the abilities of the headset. Maybe it's because of but it's just it's strange because I can plug my Switch not Switch 2, my Kinect. Goddamn, MetaQuest 2. I can plug my Quest 2 into my PC and I can play any game that works in VR on my Quest 2, right?
Yeah.
And there are a ton of games that have come out for Quest 2 and PC VR that I can play on my Index. So it's like on PC, that doesn't seem to be as big of a problem. Different headsets playing the same game. But yeah, the PSVR 2 thing was something that I didn't ever totally understand, and I think that's hurt the VR market for PlayStation. Yeah. And it definitely makes me sad because there are games that I'd love to get for PSVR, but I'm never going to because I'd have to get the original PSVR.
And it's an awful piece of machinery.
So yeah, I don't know. I am curious. I don't know. Nintendo seems like a company that is very
funny.
Yes, and they care if people are angry in a way that I don't think other companies care. Yeah. They don't, but it's from like a standpoint of, will this be a problem versus we're doing something wrong? Maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. Because that survey thing was interesting because I did take it. Yeah. And it was like a legitimate, like, what consoles do you have in your household? Yeah. How many physical games do you buy a year? How many physical games did you buy in the past 5 years?
Is there a selection for all of them?
See, I bought 1,000 physical games. I have every console. No, but they sent that survey out to, I think, specific. It wasn't to. I don't think it was public. I think they sent the link to like Switch 2 owners. The link got made public, and then douchebags like me decided, fuck you, Nintendo, I'm taking it too, because I want physical games, damn it, one day when I buy a Switch 2 in 10 years. So, I don't know, and so maybe that's why they eventually took it down, just because they were getting way more answers than they initially expected or whatever. Yeah. But, I don't know, I keep reading about, like, I keep seeing stuff about the resurgence of physical media, whether it's records or CDs and stuff. Yep. And I keep reading about streaming services getting worse. Yeah. And as enshittification sets in with streaming services, people are like turning back to physical media. And I think maybe it's not so much people are turning back to collecting everything physical. I think it's maybe people are like, I have 25 movies that I really want to own.
Yeah.
Which I was fine not owning a year ago. But streaming services, subscriptions, blah, blah, blah. I will go find these 25 movies and I'll get the Blu-ray and I'll be happy with my life, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Or people are like, or maybe they do get into records. So they're like picking up a couple records or picking up cheap records or whatever. Because they don't like Spotify stuff or they don't like AI. Like, who knows? There could be a million reasons. But yeah, like one thing, I mean, I don't know. I still enjoy like borrowing and giving games to people. You know, I finished Split Fiction and now I'm just walking up and down my street, knocking on the door, and I'm just like, do you want to borrow this? And the old man's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, do you want to play this? Because it's really good, man. You know, I'm just desperate for like, please borrow my games.
You got a wife? You got a dog?
Have fun. Yeah. Hold one controller in each hand. Just do something. You know, because that's how you did stuff back in the day. And anyway, I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. Nintendo, make more carts available for smaller developers. Damn it. You got the money to do it. You sold a bunch of consoles. So do it. God damn it. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's it. That's the only
okay. Follow us, youtube.com/gaming discourse, patreon.com/the gaming discourse. A new video, Splinter Cell Blacklist out. Please go check it out. And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.